Hello, and welcome to cis235 eCommerce. My name is Sarah Beakley-Mercill, and I will be your instructor for this course. This video serves as a short orientation to my Canvas classroom, as well as how I have the course set up. If you've taken classes with me before, I'm super excited that you're here again. And if you're new, welcome. I'm super excited that you're here. For those that have taken classes with me before, you will notice that the structure of my class is similar between all the classes I teach. I still encourage you to stick along and watch this video, as you may pick up a few other pointers about how I run the e-commerce class. When you log into Canvas, this is the page that you will land on once you click on the dashboard tile. So this is my home page, and you will see at Scottsdale Community College, we have designed all of our courses in Canvas to have a similar look and feel. So this navigation menu over here on the left is the navigation menu for my course, and it just has home, announcements, syllabus, modules, grades, and a link to the library. The links over here on the left in the blue bar, those are the global navigation links to Canvas itself. Two that I always like to point out are the calendar and the inbox. The calendar is a great tool, especially if you're taking multiple classes at SCC or our sister colleges in the district that also use Canvas. You can click on this link and you can see all of your classes at once, or filter out classes, see when assignments are due, and literally just help manage your life. So this is a very useful tool, especially for those of you that like to look at things visually. The inbox is the internal communication tool of Canvas. I use the inbox as well as announcements heavily in my courses, and I'll talk more about announcements in a moment. The inbox is connected to you and this class, so definitely be checking that. If you see a little number up here to the upper right in yellow or orange, that shows you how many unread messages you have. If that number is greater than 5, I would strongly urge you to get into your inbox and clean that out, because I do use the inbox heavily and you don't want to miss any important communications from me, especially with all of the different types of activities that happen in this class. All right, so going around the home page, just so you know, you have the main navigation menu. I have a shortcut to the 3 most recent announcements in my class. So right now there are just 2, as I have not opened up the class yet and I'm still building a few more. To see all the announcements in any of your classes in Canvas, just click on the announcements link and you can see all of them. Go back to home. So as new announcements appear, they will fall off and you will only ever see the top 3, but definitely you want to be clicking on that announcements link, because as I said, I do use them heavily in my classes to communicate with my students. Looking over here on the right, we have a to-do list. This is going to show you all the upcoming work with active links that you can click on to complete the work. What's great about this is it's super fast to find a link to click on. Something to take note of though is that the links are presented in order of due date and then alphabetically. So not always in the order I expect students to complete the work. So you can always find the exact order in the modules, and these gray bars are considered the modules. Before I jump into the modules, I just want to point out the syllabus link. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and you will find a copy of my syllabus as well as my welcome letter, which I will have already emailed to you ahead of the class, but if you need to find it, you can find it here. This class is a QM certified class, so several classes I teach have the QM mark. You can click on this icon right here to learn more about Quality Matters. What it means is that my class has been run through a rigorous set of standards, evaluated against 56 different points on the design and delivery. Excuse me. And it's basically saying that this is an awesome class and you're going to have an awesome learning experience. And for those of you who've taken classes with me in the past, you know what's coming your way. So you can read more about that, but I'm super proud of Quality Matters. I am also a QM Master Reviewer, and I have been a part of this organization for over 10 years. All right, I have pre-assigned everything in the course, so you will be able to come in here and see all the due dates for all the work that you're going to be able to do. So don't run away, but this can definitely help you plan your life, right? So you can see all of the work that's due in this class, and you can see that due dates fall on Sundays and Wednesdays in this class. All right, going back to home. The only difference between home and the modules link, just so you know, if you click on modules, is they're the same, except you don't get the announcements or the to-do list. So I like to drive my students to the home page. This is where you're going to find all of the work for my class. When you're at SCC, In Canvas, the first two modules, Welcome and First Steps, will always be the same. So you definitely want to start with the Welcome module. I have built my class in a linear fashion. So what that means is you start on the first link. This is called a page. You're going to click on it. You're going to read through all of the content. And when you get to the bottom, you click the next button, turn the page, and go to the next piece in my course. So this is my welcome video, and then right here this is the video I'm actually making right now. So you'll see another video here when you get back into the class. The next page, this one's pretty important, your instructor. This is where you're going to find all of my contact information. I am teaching one class in person this semester. The rest are online. So I do have virtual office hours. We are not allowed to see students in person in our offices on campus. I can meet you in another location if you need to meet in person, but I do have virtual office hours. You can see them right down here. This is how you access my virtual office hour. You're just going to click this link. And then I also am in the CIS tutoring lab 3 days a week. So you can find me in a lot of different places in this class. If these times and days don't work for you, send me an email and I will find a time to meet with you to help. Clicking home. All right, so that's the welcome. Definitely go ahead and read through all of that. First steps, for most of you probably know what this is about, but again, this is all of the academic, student, and support services available to you here at SCC. So definitely want to check this out. You know, if you're looking for more information about the library or our food pantry or counseling or more about Canvas or more about tutoring, as you can see, you can find all that information in there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and dive into week 1. Again, most of you have taken classes with me. I am giving the extra credit for the OLE short course. You do not need to do it. You can just resubmit your previous badge or screenshot and you'll get the easiest 20 extra credit points you've ever earned. Okay, most of this is very familiar. You're going to run through and you'll see that there is work due in this first week, but something that is different that I don't have in my other courses is this visual literacy, documents, videos, and professionalism. Definitely read through this. Just as a reminder, CIS, Computer and Information Systems. This is the subject matter that you're taking. This course is a CIS course. CIS, Computer and Information Systems, is all about creating business solutions using technology in our digital world today. Okay, so that's a lot of words. What does it mean? It means I'm using technology to create solutions. I need some computers built, and I'm going to configure the hardware in the network. That is CIS. I am going to write some code to build a program. That is CIS. I'm going to build an e-commerce website for a business. That is CIS. So here you are in e-commerce. This CIS 235 class is what we consider a capstone course, meaning it's one of the courses that comes at the end of your academic journey. Hopefully you've taken most other courses leading up to this, so you can use all of those skills to build a e-commerce website, which you will be doing in this class. You will be building a prototype e-commerce website using WordPress, as well as creating all of the documentation that goes along with it. So in business, there is documentation. There are memos, there are letters, there are presentations. And so you're going to flex those skills in this class alongside those technical skills with building a website. So with that, we come to this page, which I'm laying out for you, my expectations for the work that you submit. So you're going to want to read through that, but the biggest advice, I'm going to give you 2 pieces of advice right now, and I'm going to repeat this in the class. 1, install the Grammarly plugin to the Chrome browser. Grammarly will save your life, okay? 2, use templates in Microsoft Word to create your documents so that you have a consistent design, look, and feel, and everything looks professional. I'm going to state that here now. I'm going to leave that brief. I'm going to let you guys consume this content, turn in your first assignments. You're going to get rich feedback. I spend a lot of time on all my classes, but the work that you submit in this class requires me to read what you write and provide that rich feedback. So I do spend time providing comments within Canvas and within your documents and all of that. So you definitely want to consume that, take it in, and then improve when you get ready to do the next assignments. So definitely read through this, and you'll see right here, best tool you can use is Grammarly. So I'm just going to start plugging that from the beginning. All right, going back to home. All right, a few last things just to point out. You'll see that I have all of the work already pre-assigned. You saw that in the syllabus link, but you will see that most of the modules are locked. You can float your cursor over any lock and you can see when that is going to open up. I will always have at least 2 weeks of work open at a time to give you the chance to work ahead and plan your life. All right, one of the final things I like to point out, let's just see what we got in week 3. All right, so let's see, here's an assignment. I just want to bring up an assignment. I'm going to click on an assignment. Again, if you're a returning student, you already know this, but if you're new, I definitely want to point this out. First of all, read the instructions that I give you. They're very detailed. And then you'll see what I want you to submit. So for in this case, you're creating a PowerPoint presentation. And down below is a rubric, a very detailed rubric of how I will assess you, right? Very long and very detailed because there's a lot of pieces to it, because this is a capstone course, because you are showing me everything you have learned. You are wowing me every time you do work in this class. So what should I look at here? Well, you definitely want to read through the rubric, but if you're an overachiever like me as a student, I am only going to focus on everything that's written here on the left so that I earn the most points possible. So just read through that rubric and make sure you're hitting all those points before you turn in the work. Okay, so going back to home, we're coming up on 11 minutes, so I try to keep these somewhat short. So with that, definitely get in, start exploring my class. I will open the class a little bit early for students to get a head start, and email me, ask questions. The best way to get help is to ask for help. Of course, don't wait till the last minute. I'm sure all your teachers are telling you that. So the earlier you do work, the more feedback I can give you. And you'll even see I have some language in there under that first week that if you want feedback on what you're working on before you submit it, I'm happy to give it to you. Don't submit that into Canvas. Instead, you're going to meet with me, email me, ask for that help ahead of time. All right, so other than that, I am super excited that you're here. This is a fun class. You are going to work very hard. I'm not going to lie about that up front, or not that I would lie, but I'm not going to try to soften that. You're going to do a lot of work in this class, but you will be really proud and surprised of all of the different kinds of pieces of work that you create at the end of this course. Everything from business plans to marketing plans to site maps to personas to social media mock-ups, all incorporated into a prototype e-commerce website that includes blogs, forms, shopping carts, galleries, and all kinds of amazing content. All right, so with that, welcome. And if you have any questions, please let me know.